Hello, Smite fans, and welcome to episode 17 of the Gank Right Lane podcast. It has been a while. We're going to be talking about some of the roster swaps that happened. I misspelled roster swap in my notes. Oops. And we're going to be giving some hot takes. Let's get into this, baby. How are you doing today, John?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm alright.
Dude, it really has been
It's been a couple weeks.
3 or
Unless you
4
count
weeks.
my mini episode I made
And
about
you know what?
the Jake stuff.
The crazy part is we've been off of this for maybe 4 weeks now. Let me find a calendar here. We are still not we are not even halfway through this break
Oh
of
boy.
of SPL gameplay. It's I think September 8th. I'm pretty sure is when. Yeah, September 8th. September 7th or 8th is when this starts back up. So we are not even in August yet, man. This is killing me.
It is, dude.
I can't believe I saw someone.
Oh, I forgot to put a background image.
Do we need to restart this?
I think I can put it in post. I hope I can put it in post. The viewers might just be staring at a black screen. It'll be fine.
Okay, yeah. I saw someone like tweet out, they're like, when is SPL back? And I didn't realize. I was like, oh yeah, I kind of forgot about SPL, man. And they said September 8th. It's like, wow, that's
Lovely.
It's not even August yet.
Yep.
That's crazy. So still waiting on that. But yeah. So what do you have to say? You kind of covered. Did you cover all the changes or just that first wave?
Just that first wave.
That's what I thought.
I've been pretty busy since the second wave has happened, so I hadn't had a chance to cover it.
So kind of, I guess, break down what happened in that first.
Okay. So I woke up, I got on Reddit. Look at Reddit. Normally, stuff on Smite Pro never pops up as like the first thing when I open Reddit. I have to scroll a bit. Literally, very top, it's like genetics has replaced Awesome Jake on the Oni Warriors. Like 2 hours ago. I'm like, what the fuck? Huh? I didn't even like read far enough to see like Quig replacing genetics. I was just like, what?
Wait, I don't think that had. Okay, yeah, Quig replacing genetics was that first.
Yes.
Was that first? Yeah.
It was part of the first wave of it, yeah. And I was like, I gotta make a video about this. But I'm pretty sure John's getting ready to go home. Like, I was like, John's not available.
Yeah, I couldn't.
So I did as much research as I could on what people had said so far.
I went over every. I'm pretty sure you hit every single bit of information that was out at the time.
I think I did.
That was pretty good.
The only things I wasn't sure about is I didn't watch all of BMT's stream, and Twig was actively streaming at the time when I made my video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's could have been some stuff I missed in those streams, but you know,
Yeah,
I can't watch two streams at once, and then it would still have been like 4 hours.
Seen all of the King's takes have been just about exactly the same.
Yeah.
On this situation. So.
Yeah.
But what? It sounds like there was some big miscommunication there, because I mean, really, you would think the teams wouldn't know that people are being traded, or coming in, going out until something's confirmed. What was it? I think Biggie ended up messaging Jake asking him about the roster changes, and Jake was like, "What?" And so he found out. I don't know if you'd heard that, but Jake found out.
I had heard that, yeah.
The King's coach.
I don't think I'd heard it at the time I made the video, but
that's gotta suck.
It does.
How would you feel if not even your own team told you first that you're?
Yeah.
Like you find out from the team captain of the guy who's replacing you.
Yeah.
It still boggles my mind. What, this was 2 weeks ago now, almost.
It's crazy.
I mean, he was playing the best smite of anyone in the league, and he got kicked off of his. He was not even. He wasn't even like a reactionary roster switch up. I mean, this was the
He
one
might
that
have
kicked.
been the best warrior in that set they lost to the Ferryman.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, I think he was. Especially, he played an amazing game on Afro Game 1. This was, like I said, we're halfway through the break, so that was like 6 months ago when they played.
Feels like it.
So it's hard to remember. It wasn't a very memorable set anyway. But yeah, he definitely played really well. And what sucked then too is he knew
Yeah.
in that game.
Yeah,
I
no,
would.
I told John before the pod started. Not Jake. SOT was the worst player on that Warriors team, and he wasn't the one worried about getting his job replaced. Like,
No kidding. Yeah, it just sucks, man. I don't know how, because now going back, I've heard that Jake knew. Jake knew that he was getting replaced. The Kings knew that Genetics was gone. And during that time, the Hounds knew that Quig was looking into, or was talking about taking the King's spot, and they had thought this was the Hazer interview with Benny Q and Neil Ma. And Benny Q was like, the only way we get him to stay is if we win the tournament. And man, that makes that game 5 between the Ferrymen and the Hounds is just that much more.
it hurts so much more.
Yeah. Because that they needed to win that to keep their team together. And they didn't. And so, yeah, they said right after that, Quig was like, yeah, guys, I'm out.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That's got to affect your mental so hard.
Right. I had heard at one point, like, there was so much crazy shit with this going on behind the scenes. I heard I think BMT said it. Genetics was off the Kings, whether he was going to the Warriors or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if the Warriors won and decided to keep Jake, Genetics was just fucked.
So I just watched the whole thing. Hazer and Biggie, the Kings coach, they interviewed, and they said in the off season they wanted to get rid of either Captain Twig or Genetics because they said their personalities kind of clashed a little bit.
Which is crazy to me, because when Genetics has said, like, I'm pretty sure he's said this multiple times, that the person he talked to on the team about potentially leaving to go to the Warriors to get advice from was Twig.
Man, I mean, I think your in and out of game personalities, can be
right.
Just because you get along, like in
I know
game
that
or outside of game.
It's still crazy, but like I 100% agree with what you're saying.
Right.
It's entirely different. It seems weird, like Jake is still friends with SOT and Pagon.
Yeah. Yeah. I think him and I don't know, I've heard a lot of people have bad blood with Metroid as well. But I'm not sure the whole situation there, but yeah, I've seen plenty of tweets of like Jake and SOT together. Even like Haddix hangs out with those guys.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of fun. But surely there's nothing.
They all came up together, basically, in the Smite world.
Yeah, exactly. They were all new right around the same time. They're ranked players, whatever.
Right.
That makes sense that they're friends. But yeah, I think they wanted like the core, your core 3 or your mid lane 3v3, your jungle, your mid, and your support. You want those guys to be on the same page because they really control the pace of the map.
Right.
And if you don't have your jungle and your support on the same page, then what are you doing,
Right.
Yeah, that was crazy to me hearing that Genetics was off either way. You have to think, I'm glad he didn't turn into I'm going to call it a Solar Scarabs pick up. I know it's the
Right.
Gladiators, but that's exactly what they would have done. It's exactly what happened to Jake.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
it blows my mind. I don't know.
Yeah. It's he. I mean, a similar thing kind of happened to Yarkor. You know, not quite to the same level, but he was
Oh
really
yeah,
good
whenever
and
he
then left and then went to the Scarabs and then he ended up on Kings and won Worlds.
found his place.
So who knows where
Yeah,
Jake's gonna go from here?
is that a prediction that I'm hearing? Is Jake
Nope.
gonna leave the Glads and
It
go
sure
to a
isn't.
team in MLS?
It sure is not.
That's kind of what I heard. But
That's not what I'm predicting.
okay, if Jake were to be able to go anywhere from here, he's not staying on the Glads. Say he goes somewhere else. Where is he going?
Levi's.
Levi. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
It's the only option.
I don't know quite the dynamic of that team though. I'm sure adapting to the shot caller. You would have to imagine him and
Yeah, I feel like that's probably one of their main problems is that they don't really have the shot calling they need.
Zap, man.
Yeah. I remember specifically mentioning that as a concern for the Levi's coming into the season, which is why I had them all the way down in fourth. Turns out they had bigger concerns than I thought because they finished below fourth.
Yeah, they. Oh, are they? And I think they're redoing the things,
The divisions. Yeah.
the divisions. They're redoing those, aren't they?
Yeah.
Odd. Something
So
switched up.
this way we can have a seeding tournament for the league, which is a seeding league for a tournament. That's the seeding tournament for another tournament
Right.
again. We can do that whole thing again.
Wait. What is this? Oh no. Okay, it doesn't even tell me. Yeah, man. There's literally so much. We haven't been on here so long. There's so much to talk about. Coming into all this, what the heck? So what else? What happened after? I guess.
So Jake went to since the video I've made, Jake has gone to the Glads to
Yes.
replace Inbound with Kano replacing Scary D, and the Hounds picked up Neilma.
Yeah, that was it.
I believe that is all as of right now.
I will say, I was watching that interview with Benny Q, and he said, he does like to, I guess, troll or mess around a lot, but he did, whenever Quig left, he posted a thing and was like, something, I hate seeing my dogs turn into snakes or something like that. And he said that's not going to be the only, in this interview, he said that's not going to be the only change up that's coming. Which I thought rosters were finalized, right?
I don't
at
think
least
so.
that's what I heard. But he said that's not the only change that's coming. And both him and Neilma were like nervous laughter a little bit. So I don't know if that means anything.
Okay, so Ducky out because there's no way it's Ghost.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's no way it's Oath.
Those guys also have knowledge to what's going on in the entire league. So
I guess that's
it doesn't
true.
necessarily have to be Hounds, I wouldn't imagine. But yeah, he is talking like there's another change somewhere coming. So that's something. I mean,
I have to imagine it's with the Levi's then, right?
Or
maybe the Ravens really don't believe in Scream.
What if it was a dropped Zapman and a Coast going over to play with? Because him and Adapting are tight.
It could be.
Just a thought.
I hope not, but it could be.
Right. But
I really wish that Hounds core stayed together, man. Like, I wish they pulled, like, the Dardes vote Nika thing, except they won things, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Like, I could have totally seen that being the case with Coast, Quig, Benning-Q, and Oath. Like, they're both coming in the league around the same time. Benning-Q was technically in the league a year before, but, like...
Right. Same principle.
Yeah. Like they all come into the lead together, and they change that solo spot up a bit. After this season, there's a possibility a solo laner could have ended up leaving their team for whatever reason, and then get picked up by the Hounds over Ducky. They improve there. Let's just say like fine, okay, or something.
Sure.
And then in a couple years maybe that spot changes again, and something like that happens. The team keeps getting better and builds up to a world title or something. That's what I was hoping for from this team. And now Quig's left, and it's like, I mean, it's not possible the other three do it. They're all pretty good, but I don't really see it without Quig. He kind of feels like he was the heart and soul of the team.
I mean, I do really like the Neil Ma placement in there. They said they were looking at Jake, Gamma, Neil Ma, and who's the other one? Jake, Gamma, Neil Ma. There was one more. What other support? And inbound. Inbound's always had, like we were talking about earlier, they said Quig was their primary shot caller. They said he basically directed Oath around the map during games. Like
That's
he was
crazy.
telling them where to go and what to do. And so I can't imagine. I mean, that could be a huge punch in the gut for them.
Right.
If he's having a big
if he's doing that level of shot calling.
Right. And so I don't know about Gamma. I don't have a lot of info on him, but I know especially Jake, since he's not very communicative.
Yeah.
They don't want to pick him up, and that's why Jake wanted a team right away, and so Jake reached out to the Gladiators, is what Kiermy was saying. Jake reached out to them, and that's why when the Hounds were just waiting, he got picked up in time, so they didn't even have that as an option.
Right. I don't think they would have picked him anyways, though.
No.
Even without knowing how important Quig was of a shot caller, that did not seem like a very good fit, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And that, I mean, the same with Inbound, is he is their shot caller, or he was the Gladiator shot caller. But that's
right.
What's always been on the fence for him is like how good he's been able to do that, or how poorly, I guess, is why he's not on a team.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Neil Ma just made the most sense. He's the veteran, and I think he's going to bring a lot to him. I think you could consider it an upgrade. I don't think it will be. I don't think it will be.
You can't. You can't consider it an upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, I think for now a side grade, but I think it has potential to be.
I don't. I don't agree with you. I'm just gonna say it.
That's fair. You think it's just a straight down?
I do.
I mean, if he plays anything like he did the
him and Cubo Fred were the worst two players on a not very good Warriors team.
Yeah.
Like Dardes, Nika, and Vogt were the best players on that team. And that team wasn't very good.
But if Neil Ma is able to find his prime, back when he was one of the best, like a top 3 support in the league, consistently in like 6 and 7. And, I mean, then you're looking at something, and just the.
Then I'm gonna be honest. Then I think it's at best a side grade.
Really?
I do. I think Quig's great.
I mean, I think I'm not saying he's not great or not good or anything.
I mean, I think he's. I mean, we had him at 2 in our rankings.
You're right.
I still think he's top half.
Yeah.
Jake and Genetics are both up there, and then I think he's above Herwin, so I'd say he's at least 3rd.
That's why the Kings picked him up.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, definitely. So, what team do you think comes out on top here?
100% the Glads.
Oh, yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind.
Give me an order. So, what we've got: the Gladiators, the Kings,
Glads, Warriors, Kings, Hounds is my order.
See, I'm gonna have to switch. I agree with your top 2. Glads, Warriors. But man, I gotta put Hounds third, and then Kings fourth, because you're going with the World's MVP, regular season MVP. Or I don't know if he was actually regular season, but he should have been. I think Fine OK gets that every year because he's Fine OK.
Right.
But, the best player gets replaced by someone who's good, who's very good. Don't get me wrong. But how do you go up from the best player in the league? You don't. You go down.
The difference is that the Kings needed to make a change anyways, and the Hounds really didn't. Hounds could have stayed the same and been in a good spot, but Kings had to make a change.
I think
so. If Kings need to make a change and it's going to be genetics, Quig is about the best thing you could do. The Hounds didn't need to make a change.
Watching back some of the Hounds games, there were some they played very well all season. That showed with their record and how they did in tournaments and everything. But there were many games that they could have won where they made one bad play, one bad call, and they just didn't have the guidance they needed. And Neil was saying that he was the coach for the Ravens this year, and he said he watched the Hounds, and there were, he could see the mistakes they were making, and see what they're doing, and he thinks that he can really fix that, with his what is it?
His game knowledge.
His seniority. He's been there for a while.
Right.
And his experience. Yeah, I don't know why that was hard to think of. That's something that he thinks, and I think I really like that pickup. That was not something I would have seen in a million years, as him coming back.
Yeah, me neither.
But I like it. I'm a big fan. Can't even lie.
Yeah. That's fair.
Mm.
That is fair.
Yeah, that's all
I'm not as big of a fan of it, personally.
I mean, you're losing them either way. I think they made the best move they could have made.
Yeah, that's fair.
In that position. I know you're a Gamma fan, aren't you?
Yeah. I think Gamma's pretty good.
I don't know a lot about that guy.
Yeah, I will say they would definitely be bottom even harder if they'd picked up Inbound instead, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think that would have been a... Man, I am an Inbound fan. I am
You are.
Huge Inbound fan. But that would have been just a straight downgrade.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a...
And I don't think he fits the system.
Yeah. I still would love to see him on a team. I think he's probably done for the season. Like what happened to him last season. It sucks because he plays his way in every year and barely makes it and then gets kicked by his team.
Yeah.
It happens to him every freaking year. So I feel bad for the guy. But
yeah.
I want to see him on a team like with the... I don't know. Like with the Oni Warriors now. I think he fits into that scheme. I think he would be good there. I don't think...
I think they're trying to change their scheme, though. That's why they got genetics.
Right. Yeah, with what they were doing before, I mean, Inbound actually talks instead of Jake.
I think the problem Inbound has is that he, that with the Warriors changing their style, the only team who plays like that is the Glads. And if there's only one spot for support like that in the league, it's going to be Jake.
Right. Yep. That's what I am wondering how the Warriors...
Support, honestly, with Neilmall coming back, I feel like it's a pretty stacked position now. And, like, Inbounds, I think, is pretty close to an SPL player, and you could probably argue him for being, like, the 10th best support in A.
Yeah.
Like, I think him and Gamma are pretty close, so...
Yeah, I would put them about... I know a lot of people say that Gamma's good. I've just got the faith in Inbound. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But He hasn't shown anything yet. Hopefully soon.
If only every position was as deep as support.
Honestly, I mean, well, I'm looking through here. Yeah, you're right.
Mid
There, there,
definitely is not.
there's some supports that are not playing well, but I think in retrospect they're all very good. Okay, well, who's in mid? What do you have, Snoopy there?
I think so.
I mean, is that your lowest?
I think he is my 8, and I don't know if he's an SPL quality player.
I'm trying to think of, dude, I haven't been
Crimson.
over any of these.
Crimson is probably the guy you're thinking of, at least in terms of NA.
Right, I knew he's in the SEC that could possibly play up. Yeah, there's Paul, there's Benny, there's Ben. Oh, I forgot about Ben. There it is. Yeah, I mean,
no, mid is super stacked at the top, and then the talent disappears so quickly.
It goes fast.
Yes.
Yeah. Especially with
mid number 5 is an elite SPL player. Mid number 8 is not an SPL player. That is how fast it changes in mid.
There's a sharp drop off there.
Yes.
Dude, okay, I will say I am very upset that Snoopy didn't get replaced, but Inbound did, because Inbound was playing like decently well for, I won't even. I'm not gonna say half of the phase, but for some of it, he was playing.
Right.
He was playing very. Which, if you're not playing well more than half, you probably don't deserve it, I guess. But I mean, Snoopy was playing well for one game, and that's.
I think he was starting to pick it up towards the end of the phase.
Yeah,
for sure.
He started to come back. I mean, yeah, the start was bad. I mean, rough for the start.
The thing is, though, is as much as it sucks for Inbounds, I do think it makes sense, honestly, because they're not going to get any of the other mids in the SPL, right?
Yeah.
So the other option you're looking at is Crimson, and he doesn't have the SPL experience that Snoopy has, and I think that Glads are going to need his experience, even if he's not very good. He's probably going to have to take a step up in shot calling this next phase. I think the shot callers are going to be him and Kirmi. And, I think the changes to the team could help him a lot.
I mean, I hope so.
I mean, I've been thinking about this. Like, the more I think about it, I still wish the Glads could have somebody better than Snoopy. But the more I think about it, the more I kind of like how the Glads are looking. Because if there's if there's a support you want to be able to protect Snoopy's bad positioning, it is Jake. Jake can bail people out of bad positions, like, insanely well. I don't know if there's anybody better in the league at seeing somebody in a bad position and being like, hey, I'm going to go stand there too and help him out.
I think that's kind of a sports job. I think all of them do that well.
I mean, there's helping set up a fight as a support, you know what I mean? And then there's bailing somebody out of a bad situation. I think there are better supports than Jake at setting up a fight for your team, hitting like a big CC to set up a fight. But I think Jake might be the best at getting somebody who's positioned poorly out. And that's Snoopy's biggest weakness. We know he can push the buttons. He diffed Paul in the set this year in the seeding tournament. So we know Snoopy can still push the buttons.
Right.
Maybe not every game, but he's still got something there if he's diffing Paul. You were the one who said that originally.
What game was it, man?
It was the first set of the seeding tournament when the Glads beat the Ferryman. It was definitely Snoopy's best set this year.
I believe it. Now, okay, I will say, I think what happens with Jake and why he's been playing so well with this team is Jake is known for getting caught out. Him and Inbound both. It's part of that play style, like the Warriors and the Glads playing. You get caught out, but Jake is, I think, very well at standing his ground when he is caught out there, baiting other people into his positions. But then he also had a team who could just mechanically win in caught out positions,
Right.
So I think that helped him a lot.
Yes, I agree.
I don't want to take away anything from what he's done, because what he did was extremely impressive, and more so, I guess we haven't even talked about this yet, but that team went 13-1.
Something like
They just
that.
set
It
the
might have been
record.
14-1. Like,
They just set the record, and then you break up after one loss. I mean, is that something that you're doing?
no,
Yeah,
not mid-season.
Oh yeah. If you're losing,
Maybe in the postseason when there's more. I guess they got genetics, right? So it's not like a when there's more players available thing because they got the best player.
did you
But
watch Jake break down why he got kicked off the team?
yeah,
Rest of the video.
he jumps too
He was
much.
like, we went like 13-1, 14-1, whatever. He was like, I don't know how much. He said they want to be better. Obviously, he's like, I don't know how much better you get. I said, I guess going undefeated. He's like, I guess if they think they can do that with genetics, then oh well. But
Yeah,
really though, you lose one game, which I guess was the
most
what most
important
important
one.
most important game. One that mattered.
They'd already replaced him when they were still undefeated.
Right. But at that point, yeah, that's your entire mental is smashed there, I feel like.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm looking back, man. Hannah Tom played bad. Solar Troll played bad. Netrioid played bad. It was really just Pagon kind of staying alive and Jake in that
Yeah.
last set. So, didn't even play. Played like a top player on his team. And
You're telling me that in a playoff set against Paul, the rest of Pagon's team chokes and Pagon plays well? Where have I heard that before? Literally the last tournament Pagon was in.
Yeah. R.I.P. R.I.P. the boys.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I shed a tear after I heard that Panic Hat retired. I'm pretty sure I started crying that night.
I believe it. Yeah, I don't know. I really like the way this Glads team looks, I'm gonna be honest.
I definitely agree they're the team that comes out looking the best.
Yeah, because it's one of those things as well where if Snoopy's gonna position poorly, Jake can just babysit the fuck out of him, and
Yeah.
Stewart might have the best fucking positioning in the league. He never gets caught out, so Stewart's gonna be fine without Jake there to protect him.
Is Stewart doesn't play that play style like they do, like Jake does especially. I think Stewart would work much better, and that's another player. I was talking about wanting to see inbound on a team that fits, or a little more mechanically skilled, that would work with him, just to see his real potential. And I think Stewart as well. Put him on a team that likes to play slow, likes to play back. Something like the Kings. I think he would play very well in the Kings.
Right. He still gets his damage off how it is. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I'm not saying he doesn't.
He's getting involved in these bad fights his team is taking and doing his damage. He's just positioning well enough that
for him to be peak.
Yeah.
For him to be.
I do think there are teams that he could be on that would help him peak more.
Something like that. But in the Gladiators, this bottom team, whether it's Scarabs or Gladiators, is always going to be your melting pot of whatever's the best talent, that deserves to be an SPL, but isn't finding a place quite yet.
Right.
It's always a weird, just mishmash team.
Right.
And yeah, I think he's the next best. There's maybe one E-Chrome. which already isn't moving over. And even then, I think Stewart still probably is better than Echrome.
Right.
Um,
I mean, he's better than multiple supports or multiple carries in the SPL.
right. So
I think he's top half. I don't even have that on my hot take list.
I would put it there.
You would put it on my hot take list?
I don't know. You're hitting me with all this stuff. I haven't watched or thought about any of this in like a month at this point. Now putting me on blast, trying to decide who my top or like I don't even know what carriers are in the league right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Yark, Netroid, Cyclone.
I think Cyclone's only ahead of him because he shot calls. If Cyclone didn't shot call, I would put Stewart above Cyclone.
So that's exactly what I'm saying. You know, you switch Stewart and Cyclone on their teams right now, and I think Stewart performs at the same level. I think right now, if you're looking at him, Cyclone performs better. But if you switch them, it's just going to be this. Like Stewart's going to perform better on the Ferryman.
Right.
And
I mean, we've seen this.
True.
We've literally seen what you're talking about.
Yep. This literally happened last year. I forgot about that. So, yeah. I mean,
they made Worlds Finals. Like.
True.
And no small part to Stewart. He played really well.
Oh. Yeah, there's always the big... I don't even know what I'm getting at with this.
Yeah. So, I mean, the question then is, if you definitely have those three above Stewart, then do you have Coast above Stewart?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I know you do.
That's the guy who has... That's the guy.
But do you have Barracuda above him?
Okay, see, that's the thing, is because Barracuda, in some of his games, played like the best carry in the league. And probably 4 or 5 of their sets, he played like the number 1 carry in the game. But then for the other ones, he played like a bottom 2.
Yeah.
And so it's like, how do you... And even when they lost the Hounds like they did in this last tournament, I mean, Barracuda was slamming.
Yeah.
They just weren't put together as a whole team.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. I have Stewart as my 4 above Coast.
I can see that.
I think they've done similar things, but Stewart's been better at not dying on a team that only dies.
Yeah.
If there's one way you could define the Glad's playstyle, it's dying a lot. Other than Stewart, who has managed to not do that. And the long lane person, whose name I always forget, Aaron something.
Yeah.
She pulled out a stat that was like the number 1 correlation, but for a team winning from like what the carry does is them not dying. So Stewart's doing the number 1 thing that helps a team win from carry better than almost every carry in the league on a team that does that thing more than any other team. Like, while his team is losing fights, he's finding ways to not die while still getting his damage off.
On the flip side of that, I've seen a lot of people, and I know there are a lot of Stewart haters out there. So take this with a, whatever the saying is.
Grain of salt.
Don't look too deep into it. But people are like, you guys are praising him for doing the thing that the carry is meant to do, is stay alive, stay safe. Don't put yourself in these bad positions and do damage. Like that's literally the job of the carry.
Right, but he's doing it better than everybody else. That's why he's getting praise.
Yes, he is. I mean, they're right. They have a point with that, But he is doing it on a team that it would be very hard to do it on. And it's not like he's
doing it. He died joint 4th least amount in the league while being on that terrible team.
That's what I've played some games wherever I'll play carry, And I mean, my entire team is just getting ran down the whole time. And I mean, I had never from minute 2, I have not had a single chance this game because the rest of my team is feeding absolutely. And I'll end the game maybe 1-1, 2-1, something like that, because I keep having to run away from all these fights. But I'll also have like just a very low to average damage.
Right.
In these fights, he's able to run and stay safe while also putting out
Yes.
highest damage numbers. So you gotta respect him.
He
for
has fallen a little bit in damage. At one point, he was first in damage per minute in terms of carries. I think he's fallen to 4th.
Right.
But he's still above his mid, and he's the only carry to have more damage than their mid. So.
But then again, you have to look at it from playing on the back foot, you know?
Right.
If I'm able to run at you and free cast, obviously I'm going to be doing more damage than you.
Right.
So you got to look at it from that perspective as well, which is why, I mean, it's so hard to just look at a final look at stats and say this is how good a player is.
Right. At the same time, stats can tell a lot of the story, you know?
Right.
They don't tell all of it, but...
They don't tell it all.
Dude, Smite Pro League needs some more advanced stats like what baseball has. I'm telling you. We need like a proximity to enemy per minute. Like, how good are they at, if you're a solo, at staying close to where the enemies are, and if you're the carry, how good they are at staying away from them? That's what I want to see.
That would be how in the world would you keep track of that?
I don't know, but that's what they need. Dude, for a bunch of fucking nerds who are into an esports league, the Smite Pro Reddit is so fucking stat illiterate. Like, I'm sorry, people who see this who are from the Smite Pro Reddit. Like, just some of the things they say about stats don't make any sense. I'm like, do you not know how stats work? Somebody said that the long lane person said that Stewart is like basically the best carry at not dying and all that. And then somebody said, so does that mean he's just really bad then because he's not dying and his team's still losing? And it's like, no, you idiot! That's not how that works. He's dying because his other players are awful. Like, the rest of his team is bad.
Yeah, it's that should have no. I mean, how do you even make that assumption
I don't know.
from that? Trying to connect that in my head is hurting. Oh.
Yeah, that would be like, okay, so I'm sure nobody else knows this meme, and you might only know it because I've talked about it before. But you know the tweet where it's like some guy was like, every Angels game I see is Mike Trout went 3 for 4 with 3 homers, and Shohei Ohtani did something that hasn't been done since Clown Shoes McGee in 1850, and the Angels lost 8-3. That'd be like seeing that tweet and being like, well, Trout must suck then because his team lost even though he hit 3 homers.
Right.
It's like, no, he did all of the winning things for his team and nobody else helped.
Trying to help them, man. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, some of the stuff people say on there are
it's so crazy to me because to be on the subreddit for an esport of such a niche game like Smite, you have to be the biggest fucking nerd. And to be a big nerd like that, like, that's the type of people who understand stats and how they work. And they don't. They just don't. Like, this is the group of people you would expect to be able to understand stats.
Yeah, that
and
really kind of hit home there when you're like, you have to be. I mean, really, as small of a community that Smite is, and how much smaller the pro scene is off of that, to be, you know, that deep. You know, there's one thing to watch it, and there's another thing to be on the Reddit page. I mean, it just keeps narrowing and narrowing down into this small group of people, the Smite Pro subreddit, and there are people in there who are just, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they're stat illiterate.
Right.
Like, that is the politically correct term.
It gets political like that?
No, it's just politically correct. You know, if I wasn't being politically correct, I'd be calling them slurs.
Oh, okay.
The politically...
That's a big jump.
That's the non-politically correct way. You know what I mean? No, but I'm politically correct. Yes. So I'm just calling them stat illiterate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things where it's like, you can look at a number like damage per minute or like how little deaths he has and say, okay, but that doesn't matter as much as some of these things that aren't quantified by stats. That's not what a lot of people are doing. They're looking at his stats that are clearly good and saying, yeah, but actually these mean he's bad. Right. That's what they do.
They find a way. Is he the most hated guy in the league?
Dude, look, okay.
That could be clickbait.
I'm gonna say something. And all I'm gonna say is that the only player in the league who receives as much illogical hate as Stewart is Stewart, and he is the only black player in the league. So I'm gonna say.
I've made that connection once or twice before.
Look, I'm not saying that just because you don't think Stewart is good as I am, that you're a racist. But I do believe that some of the people who think that because they're racist. Mm-hmm. Not all of them. There are arguments to think Stewart's not as good as I do. You don't think Stewart's as good as I think Stewart is.
It's as good as you do.
And I don't think you're a racist because you've given logical reasons.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But in my opinion, because I mean, there's some people who haven't justified it in any way. They just hate Stewart.
Right.
And some of that might be because he's black. That's all I'm gonna say. Because I mean, It's not like most gaming communities, especially MOBAs, are known for being particularly progressive.
Oh, yeah, that as well.
You know, probably the most common place to hear the N-word in the past 30 years is a Call of Duty lobby. You know what I mean? Yeah, I know, but it's still a gaming community, is what I'm saying. MOBAs are also known for it, but gaming communities in general are very much known for not being progressive. So it would not surprise me is if some of the hate Stewart gets is because people are racist.
Yeah. No, yeah, I've definitely, thought about that and made that connection, but I will say there's groups of people for every player who just don't like them.
Yeah.
And I think Stewart's is bigger than most because of that reason as well.
Right.
That you're pointing out. But, there are a group, especially when it was like Stewart and SOT and Layers. Who else was on that? I think it was like those three. I was like, oh, these guys suck. I didn't have a reason for it.
Right.
And they were just kind of coming up during then, and, you're hearing things about them. But now that it's leveled off, I like Stewart. I like SOT. I still hate Layers. But that's a different story.
It's crazy. I think we've swapped on our opinions of SOT. I hate all the Warriors now because they betrayed my boy. So now I hate SOT and you like him. Coming into this season, you hated SOT and I liked him.
If you watch the thing with Jake and SOT was
Jake's definitely... Jake and Pagon I definitely hate less for it than Panatom and Netroid. I can't really blame genetics for taking the opportunity. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Genetics was the one who reached out to Panatom, though. And was
Right.
like, hey, man.
But Panatom could have just been like, no. Like, he was the one who had the power there. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, if the world, like you said, this is a business, man. If the world champion MVP is reaching out saying, hey, I want to be on your team, you're going to be like, let's make it happen.
Yeah, no, logically, I can't blame them. Emotionally,
right,
they've harmed my boy.
The empathetic side of
yes. First time that has ever come out on this podcast.
No kidding. We cracked him, boys.
I have been the most like analytical fuck your feelings man, and now they've hurt my boy Jake.
Not even. There's sometimes it's just fuck your feelings. You don't even care about analytics. You're just fuck your feelings most of the time.
Yeah.
No, it's like, oh wait, he has.
I am Skip Bayless.
Yeah.
Skip.
Skip. I don't think he talks like that.
No, but the other guy on his show talked like that.
Oh, see,
Shannon Sharp. No, I was talking about Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp.
Okay, wait, they were the guys who got in the argument, and now they don't work together anymore, right?
I think so.
See, who am I thinking of? I'm not thinking of Skip Bayless. I was thinking of someone else, but yeah.
Are you thinking of Stephen A. Smith?
Yeah.
I think that guy sucks as an analyst.
See, that's who I've always thought you were talking about when you said Skip
No,
Bayless.
I was talking about Skip Bayless. No, I don't want to be Stephen A. Smith.
Okay, then it was Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp who got in the fight, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know, maybe. No idea.
I'm going to find it out. Oh, as the first thing on Google is Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp married?
What the fuck?
I don't know. I don't know.
Anyway.
Yeah, I think that kind of touches on our rosters, who comes out on top. I don't know. It's so exciting when new stuff comes out, but I hate seeing play, because I mean, like, Inbound, man, this guy he worked his ass off, gets into the league, gets his contract. I mean, this is his job. I mean, he's getting paid real money for this. And then gets kicked off the team. And then works his way all the way back up. You know, gets a team together. Claws his way in. And then gets his contract taken away.
Yeah.
Again. And it's not like, so the thing with Kiermy, the interview with Kiermy about the Gladiator Soul changes, he was like, Scary D wasn't showing up to scrims at all. They said Snoopy, they mentioned Snoopy in it because it was like a once or twice thing.
Right. Like, I think he said it happened like 3 times at the beginning of the season, and then once while they were practicing for Masters, but he had an actual good reason that time.
Right.
I think that's what he said, if I remember correctly.
And then they were like, Scary D just wasn't.
Right.
Ever.
No, I don't really feel bad for Scary D in this situation. All he had to do was wake up by fucking 11 a.m.
How is that hard?
I don't know.
I don't know. But yeah.
I mean, in his defense, he does have issues going on with his family and stuff. His father is having like health complications.
Right, and I get that, but that's, I mean, you know, if you want to, maybe he didn't want to keep his job, you know. But if I'm getting paid to play video games like that, I'm waking up. I don't care. Right. I don't care if I have to wake up at 6 a.m, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's not like you don't have to get up, you don't have to shower, you don't have to go somewhere. You have to, like, you know, most jobs you got to scrub your balls before work.
Right.
You sit up, you can put your computer at the edge of the bed so you sit up and are there.
Yeah.
That's my take on that. So I feel bad for Inbound, don't feel too bad for her.
I feel bad about his family situation. I don't really feel bad that he got kicked from his team.
Right. Yes.
'Cause, I mean, I would feel a little more bad if this wasn't a problem that had been happening with him in previous years as well, before he had this situation with his father's health.
I mean, I don't think you can directly blame that though on not waking up.
I mean, I would be more understanding if it had only been a problem this year. You know what I mean? It's like, I
Right.
don't really get how that correlates, but I get it a little bit. You know what I mean? Like I'm sympathetic. It's a hard situation. He's probably feeling all sorts of feelings. And
Yeah.
when you're sad, it's harder to wake up. But this was also a problem before this, so
Right.
all right. You want to move on to hot takes?
Sure.
Alrighty. You want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
So I don't know if I have any hot takes. I think this is just kind of a
Oh, I thought we were gonna go like back and forth.
I mean, what was it? Okay, here I'll do one. I'll do one.
Alrighty.
So we just talked about this before we started. I don't know why I brought this up even. But hot take, which I really at this point don't think it's a hot take because I've seen it other places. This Warriors team gets together, and then I have heard from these interviews, especially not even this year, but the years or what last year as well. Netrioid has a little bit of like an ego personality, not ego might be the wrong word, but like a personality problem. Whereas it doesn't mesh with some other players, or he has maybe ego is the word,
Right.
And players have problems with that, and so genetics has replaced Netrioid with Yarkor before. I can 100% why if you're taking a team and making the most stacked team possible, why would you not upgrade your carry as well? Is that's got to be the best duo lane, right? The Yarkor and genetics. Why would you not replace Netrioid with genetics or with Yarkor? And then I think so. My hot take here is that genetics or Yarkor is going to get his third ring in a row, tying Zapman on the Oni Warriors. And if you want to make it an even hotter take, Yarkor is going to be playing mid.
Yeah, that's honestly, I still think it's a hot take, but only because like other people on Reddit have been saying it. But I think it's just a bad take, so that's why I think it's a hot take. Because genetics, I mean, he could just be lying because it hasn't happened yet. But genetics has said multiple times he likes Netrioid, and that change was only made because they felt like they needed a change, not even necessarily an upgrade. They just needed a change,
Right.
And so, this Warriors team just dominated. Seems like they probably want to make as little changes as possible, you would think.
Right.
So I don't think. I mean, that's a move I'd make if I could get Yarkor over Netroid. I'd do it, to be honest. But
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to.
that's fair. Yeah, just something. Honestly. Okay, wait. I'll save this because if we're going back and forth, I'll save this for the next one.
Alrighty.
Yours.
I'm trying to figure out which one I should do first.
How many you got?
I
just
have
need to think of how many I
3.
have. Okay.
I have a 4th that I had as a backup, but I don't think it's not that,
Well,
that
message
good
me the fourth one so I can present it as my own idea.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
Oh, wow.
I knew that'd be your reaction.
Maybe I won't present that as my idea. Okay. Anyway, continue with your
All right.
turn.
I think I'll just go with this one because all of my takes are insanely hot.
Okay.
The coolest one is like Ghost Pepper.
As insanely hot, you mean just insane?
Yeah.
Okay.
I went off the deep end. Like I was at work and I was bored. So what I did was I thought of the most insane things I could ever think of, and then I spent like 3 hours convincing myself of the truth.
Okay. I'm excited now.
All right. Then I think this is I think the least hot take.
Okay.
The Eldritch Hounds without Quig will finish bottom this phase.
You think I bottom?
Bottom. They're gonna be 8.
I agree with you that that's not the most hot take ever. I think it is. I think it's crazy a little
Yeah.
bit, but
There are definitely hotter ones.
that's something. I see. I even hate to say that I can see it happen. Okay, I can't see it happening, but I can understand why you might think that.
Right. You are a much bigger believer in Neil Morrow. Neil Morrow
No,
than I
dude.
am.
See, and that's the thing is, I was not a Neil Ma fan, obviously, because he was the one who was
Right.
dicking down the ghost, which was what the dragons,
Right.
you know, the OG dragons, OG rival ghosts. Um, and so he left a sore taste in my mouth, but
I mean, I
so,
mean, like you think he's better than I think he is.
right,
I
yeah,
think he's gonna be like bottom 2 support in the league. I think you're more like bottom half. It seems like
yeah, I know. I think he's bottom half,
exactly,
bottom
and I
two.
think
Okay,
he's
well,
probably bottom 2.
I think he's gonna be around a Rongu.
Right. Wrong you is my bottom 1 right now. Honestly,
Okay, well then.
that wasn't one of my
But
hot takes. So I don't feel like that's that hot of a take right now.
I can.
Genuinely, who do you think is worse than him right now?
Right. I'm looking. See, I'm trying to remember all of them. We got Boom Boom. I'm missing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Okay, I'm counting. So we've got Jake, Genetics, PBM, Hurwind, Quig. Yeah, I mean he's definitely bottom. I can see a bottom 2.
Yeah,
I would take him around bottom 2.
and I
Um,
think, I think they went from a top 3 support to a bottom 2.
it's a big jump, but
It
you have to
is,
think of the.
and I think Quig was the heart and soul of that team. They
Here's
were
my thing:
already
is
only
it
5-5. A couple of their wins were already against teams that weren't doing that well at the time. Um,
I think
they did
a
well at
lot of
Worlds, but a
our
lot of
losses.
that was coast hugging people, giving them fucking Super Saiyan energy.
And he's gonna be doing that the rest of the year. So,
Yeah, but it's not gonna give as much energy. You know what I mean? It's like the first
um,
time it happens, it imbues you with insane energy. I feel like by week 4, it's gonna be like, all right, Coast is
no
talking
way
again.
out.
Yeah.
All right, set this guy down. Come on. You're gonna have the coach is who's the coach? El Chuckles. He's
I
gonna
mean,
run out and put him in handcuffs before the match ends each time. No, if Quig was shot calling as much as they say he was, um,
I will
then
say, I did make this change before I knew Quig was shot calling that much, or I didn't think this before I knew Quig was that much of the shot caller as well. I
well that
assumed
gives
Ducky
more of
was
a
the shot
reason.
caller, to be honest.
That gives more of a reason why that would be true. You know? Yeah, I did
Right.
not see him as like the talkative kind of, you know,
Right.
controlling kind of guy, but it it doesn't matter how if even if Neil Ma, who I do think is more well, he's obviously more experienced. He has more game knowledge. It doesn't matter if that's the case or not. Moving from listening to all the calls from this one guy to listening to all the calls from another, that's a big change.
Right.
Because they're not going to be you get used to the kind of calls this guy's making, and you get used to playing around that.
Right.
And switch up, and that one, I mean, I don't want to say little because it's a big change. But that one change I think could be what could put them at the bottom. I don't think it will happen. I just want to say that.
Right. And I
But
also believe in the Glads to improve. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, I think it'll be a situation where, like, Hounds and Glads are both win 3 games, and the Glads won, like, 1 more game in a set than the Hounds. And so that's why they're 8 and the Glads are 7. Yeah. Like, it's going to be close. But I think the Hounds will be 8.
Yeah, I can see Hounds. Or I think the Gladiators, their changes, I think this all kind of relies on how Kana plays. But I think their changes could win them some more team fights. Right. Which will result in a couple more games being won, but overall sets being won. You know, like what's.
I mean, I'm saying they're going to win 1 more.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so I don't think that's going to affect that much, and I think. Yeah, I guess they were 5-5, so being 3-7 wouldn't be that much. It's
not that big of a jump.
The more I think about this, the more it makes sense, and the more the more I don't.
You see how I convinced myself it's going to be true? I hate it as well, man.
But the thing is that you always predict this kind of shit. Like you do. I don't know how you do it, but you do it.
It's because I always say the most insane shit, and then one of the things happen, because something insane is always bound to happen, and then you only remember the thing that actually happened, and not any of the other shit. You know what I mean?
Right. Man, I don't know. Yeah, that is a...
Like, we haven't talked about the fact that I put the Ferryman at 8 right before Worlds, like, since I did that. And that's a thing I did.
Yeah.
Like, that's a real thing that I did, so...
You're good at deflecting that.
I just don't bring it up.
Yeah.
That's how I deflect.
That's smart. Oh.
Alright, you got another hot take?
Man,
you gonna steal mine, or?
Here's one. No, I'm not saying that. You could not. You will not get that out of me. I would box you over that, honestly. Okay,
that's hot fair. Take. It's the one I believe the least of the ones I have on here. That's why it was a backup. Because it is very spicy.
Yarkor is going to play a new role for himself by the end of the year. So he's played support, he's played solo, and he's played carry. So I think he's going to play either jungle or mid by the end of the season.
Yeah, you kind of had that bundled in with your last one a little bit as well.
Yep.
I mean, it's one of those... Fair. It's one of those things where it's like, that is absolutely insane, but he's also already done that.
Right.
He has won Worlds in 2 different roles. I don't know if anybody else has done that.
No one else has done that. I think
Cyclone's been to Worlds at 2 different roles, and he won his carry, or he's won his solo, but I don't think he's ever won his carry.
No, so he could also be in contention.
Yep.
But the reason I don't think that's possible at all is we just talked about how shallow the carry role is. And so I don't care unless...
I honestly think it's slightly less shallow than mid. Only slightly.
Right, but what team is he going to that he would be an upgrade for? Which makes sense for him to leave the Kings. Like, no one, you know?
He's going to the Glads, baby.
Right. I mean...
He's going to get in a fight with Quig, and they're going to boot him. He's going to go to the Glads, and then the Glads are going to face the Warriors in the finals and win Worlds.
Honestly, you might be onto something here. Because...
If that happens, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Well...
Because that's not even a real prediction. I'm joking.
If Quig comes in with as strong of a voice on the Kings as he had on the Hounds, or as people said he had on the Hounds, Yarkor, they said, is also the predominant shot caller for the Kings.
Right.
And so, it was like him and so having them in the same lane, I can't imagine having 2 shot callers in the same lane. That would drive me crazy.
Right.
Like I
From
would like to.
from what I remember them saying, it was, or from what I remember Genetics saying, I guess, it was sort of a thing where it was like he's Genetics is making the calls, and then Yarkor, if Genetics like makes too aggressive a call, Yarkor is like,
Shuts it down.
no. You know what I mean? Like Yarkor is either like this is a bad idea, or he backs up Genetics' decision.
Right.
So I could see a thing like that working if that's how they do it. If I understood their dynamic correctly from what I read from what Genetics said, if Yarkor takes that role, I could see them working together. I don't think it's impossible though. Yarkor ends up leaving the Kings. Seems kind of like that team is falling apart.
Right. I could see a couple more changes. And okay, so I don't know if you saw this either. But Genetics put out the Google. He put out a Google Doc.
I did. I did. I
Was.
think that's where I saw the thing I was talking about.
Um, and he said that Variety. He still considers Variety the most consistent solo laner in the league. What do you think about that?
He's right. Every game Variety plays, he's the 8th best solo in the league.
Fair enough.
He didn't say anything wrong. You know exactly what Variety is going to be. The worst solo in the league.
The worst. No,
Dude,
I think
somebody on Reddit was like, when are they getting rid of SOT for Variety? And I was like, are you on crack?
That one, I think you are a bit of a Variety hit. I don't think you're overstretching it by much.
Yeah. He's not literally the worst solo in every set he plays. That was an exaggeration.
Right. I think
that was for the joke, but I do think he might be the worst solo in the league now that Scary D's out of the league.
Yeah, I agree.
We haven't seen Kana at an SPL level yet, so we don't know how he's going to do.
I think the guy's going to be... I mean...
I do think he'll be at least 7th.
Yeah, as good as a new solo laner could be.
Yeah.
I'm actually really excited to see him play. Especially someone was saying that he's already in the US. Like,
yeah,
there's not going to be any wait time, so that's really cool.
Yeah, Kirmi was saying he got a different type of visa to what a lot of these guys get or something. So he's able to come over right away, and then between the end of the season and Worlds, he's going to have to go back for a couple weeks. So it's only going to be in the way of scrims and not of the actual tournament, right. And then he's going to come back for Worlds.
Cool.
Yeah.
I
think that's why they made the decision for Kana over Aquarius, I think Kirmi said. Is because he was Aquarius, like, he showed the dedication that he set all this stuff up by himself to get to America to be in the league.
And Kirmi also ended up saying he was like, the reason why they decided him over Aquarius was Aquarius has had two or 3 years in the SPL and has been bottom. You know, he's been bottom.
That as well.
A couple players. And so they're like, why not? We see Aquarius, and you know, you see even games in SEC, like some of these playing games, he had like horrendous games.
Yeah.
You know, we know what we can expect from him. Why not take the risk on a guy who's never been in here before, but who has a potential ceiling much higher?
Right.
And I think hot take. Here's my hot take. Are you ready for this one?
I think it's supposed to be my turn. You can save that for your third one. You can save this for your third one.
Okay. Sorry.
Oh, it's not that big of a deal. I just figured you probably don't have a third one, right? So
no, I didn't have a
save this for your third one. That's true. You made it up on the spot. I tried to give you one and you didn't want it. I don't know what that was about.
Okay.
All right. Which of these two do I want to do next? I guess I'll do it in order of when these things will happen. So I'll do this one next. So 3 or more of the current Glads players will stay together going into next year, and the team will be good enough that they're not playing in.
Okay, so
Watch this be technically correct because they get rid of play-ins or some shit.
Yeah. But
That would be hilarious. Well, so basically, my thought process behind this is Stewart, Jake, Kierme, Kana all stay together. One of the top mids leaves their team, one of the top 5, and joins the Glads. I think that team is good enough to not have to play in.
and the more I'm looking at this, the more I like the Glads.
That's what I'm saying.
They look nice.
They do.
See, and as much I want to stab my eyes out.
If they keep Snoopy, they definitely have to play it. If they get one of those top 5 mids, they're not playing it. There's no doubt in my mind.
As much as Inbound is one of my favorite Smite players, this team looks a lot better without him. And yeah, if they get a solid mid in here,
a lot of that is also Kana over Scary Heat.
right, I mean, I almost gave it away. I mean, I think you know what's coming anyway. But yeah, if he plays out, if he shows out like I think he can, I think Kierme proved that at least in that last meta that he was very good. Stewart was very good. Jake was very good. Now it's up to if they can if the rest of these 4 can pull up Snoopy and make this a team, then I mean, damn, that would be cool.
Imagine if this team's 4-6, scrapes by against like the 3 seed in the playoffs, and then replaces Snoopy for like Shinto. That team never has to play in a million years.
Yeah. Well, especially I think if they don't. So here, I don't know exactly how they decide, but like if a team doesn't make Worlds, then they automatically have to play in. If these guys make Worlds, then that's when teams start to break up and everything disintegrates, and then you build up new teams.
Right.
So
I think it could happen, especially because there's some teams who haven't made changes that I think really need to.
Yeah.
This is a really good hot take, but it's not on my list. I kind of want to throw it onto the list, so I'm trying to decide if we should just say it now.
Just say it. Is it Dardes?
It's not Dardes.
Damn it.
If the Ferrymen don't win Worlds again...
Don't tell me
I think Paul's leaving. I mean, maybe he's not going to that. But he could go somewhere else, and then that mid moves to the Glads or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, if they don't win Worlds 3 years in a row, especially if they make the finals and lose 3 years in a row, I can't imagine Aurora, Cyclone... I mean, I guess technically Cyclone wasn't part of the last run. But I can't imagine this team sticks together.
You always say Aurora like you're tripping over a fucking stick or something. You act like you're falling down.
I can't help it. That's just how I say his name.
Fair enough. No, I get that. Because what? Paul he won 2, and then made it to the finals. Did he make it to the finals in 2?
He won 2 in a row, and he's made it to the finals in the past 2. He's made it to 4 straight finals. In the past 4. Yes.
And he's 2-2. Ed, dude, I've had this picture pulled up in our Discord chat this whole time, and all I can see when I look at Paul is Michael Jordan. That's all I see. Right there. Huh?
And like between me and you, or in one of the group chats?
Yeah, okay. Between me and you. I have like the the $5, $4.
Right, yeah. I just wasn't sure if you were talking about one where somebody had edited Paul to look like Michael Jordan or something.
No, that's all I'm seeing though.
Yeah,
man,
no,
that
that's
guy's
fair.
so good. I wish this is how you were saying to be on the Smite Pro Reddit, you got to be a bunch of nerds.
Yes.
I wish there was a what would you call it? Like a Smite simulation where we could run our own teams, get our players, work out stuff like that.
Right.
Trade. That would be. I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's a goat. I think that is a good chance. Sorry, I got way off there.
Yeah.
If they don't end up, I think they'll make it again this year. I don't think that's a hot take. I think they will end up making it again this year.
I mean, they could win.
Right. If they lose, I do see that team probably disintegrating.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, I feel Cyclone Spin and Aurora have been together for so long they might stick together, but I could see Paul being like, all right, I guess it's time to move on.
Time to do something else.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then maybe he goes to like, I don't know. Maybe he goes to the Ravens and then Venenu goes to the Glads?
that team's been needing to make up too. So I guess what? Yeah, it's Haddock's Barracuda Venenu.
Yeah.
They haven't been getting anything done.
Nope. I mean, they had a pretty good regular season phase. And then the Hounds happened.
Right. But then, that's what the biggest problem with, let me go find this again. With winning out like that is I really do think it's a disadvantage getting a bye. Because they don't get that.
Right.
They don't get any warm up, you just get sent in to this team who's hot because they just won the last game.
Yeah. Maybe that's why Paul refuses to win a regular season phase.
I don't blame him.
He has it in his contract that his team can't win a regular season phase so that they don't have to rest.
Do not allow it.
Yeah. Even though they don't sign contracts with the teams.
Trust
so that
me,
wouldn't even make any
Paul
sense.
is not the reason they're losing games.
No, that is definitely true. That would be Sino.
Yeah, there was one game I remember Paul was like 0-6, but he had like 70,000. Not 70. That would be insane.
That might have been the game Snoopy diffed him.
He was 0-6 on Ophuck, but he had like 40k damage, which was like almost 20k more than anyone else in the game.
Remember that time Aurora played Ophuck support and single-handedly lost his team in the game?
No, I read a Long Lane interview with Aurora about that while I was on the airplane. And he was like, yeah, it was he said, I still think it's a good pick that was when Hell was crazy.
Right.
He said, I still think that was a great pick into Hell, but I forced it into a team comp that was good into Ophuck, which like a Fenrir. I know there's a Fenrir and like at least one other thing that just is absolutely detrimental for Ophuck.
Right.
And he said he just forced it into that, didn't take beads, and then played bad, and it just snowballed to all shit from there.
I think that game has forever hurt my perception of Aurora, because like I don't have him top half, and I feel like 90% of the reason is that game.
That's insane.
I mean, my top half is right now is Jake, Genetics, Quig, Heroin.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that top 5. It's hard. I think
Which
the
is
support role.
Crazy that PBM isn't in it, but he did not have a good phase.
No, he didn't. I mean, even that's like one of my favorite players ever.
It is.
And I don't think he played top half. Split.
Oh, he definitely didn't play top half. There were 4 insane supports. But you could definitely argue for him over like Aurora.
I don't know. See, I think you could argue Aurora in top half over Quig. or heroine
I don't.
or even genetics. Um,
Not based on their play from last phase. I'm gonna be honest. I think
you
Quig
don't
was
think so?
insane. Maybe over
I think
Irwin.
there were some games genetics single-handedly threw.
Yeah. I mean, we just talked about a game Aurora single-handedly threw.
That too. Yeah. I think they won that set though, didn't they? No. No, they didn't. I was against the Warriors.
Yep.
Oh.
All right, your next hot takes or
Mine? Okay. Kana, top 4 solo laner. Top half.
dude, I've thought about that being a possibility as well. I don't
Kana's
quite
not,
believe it, but I've thought about it.
I don't know if I do either. Well, just because, I mean, if you look at the gods he plays, it's a lot of Bluestone gods, which I haven't played in so long. I'm not really quite set on what the meta is exactly.
I feel like it's still Bluestone right now.
But, he plays a lot
He
of
plays a lot of like the same type of god that's fine
Arthur.
okay, right?
Yeah. King
Very similar
Arthur
god
Q.
pool.
He can carry the games and do a lot of damage from over there.
Right.
Um, when it was last season, or earlier this season, when solos were kind of like secondary supports.
Yeah.
I don't think he plays the best in that. I mean, I still think he plays well, but I think it just depends on how his god pool pans out into this league. I'm excited. Yeah, I think it says he's on the Ravens. I know he's not.
Kana?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Click on his name. Go to team. Gladiator. You go to the Gladiators and click on it. But that was because he was on the last year at Worlds. He
You're
was on
talking
the
about talking about it for the stats, right?
yes, player stats. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He was on the Ravens with adapting and coast and angry and who was their support?
I don't know, but that team should just reunite in the SPL.
No, that's what Coast was like. We only have 2 more players to go or something. But Angry has like a comp ban, so
Yeah,
yikes.
not angry.
I forgot.
Reunite that
what-
team in the SPL, but then just plug in Jake and make me happy.
There you go. So yeah, all the boys are making it in and making it out the hood, making it out the whatever you call it,
Yeah.
SEC.
All right.
That's my take.
Yeah. I mean, let me think about this. Haddix, fine, okay, right? Definitely above him.
See, Final K I think was a bottom 4 in this last split.
Yeah, but the meta's gonna shift more towards like if you're gonna give Kana a boost because the meta's shifting towards him, you also have to give Final K a boost because the meta's shifting towards him because they play a very similar style.
Yep.
And then there's SOT, probably above him as of right now.
See, I think with this up and coming meta, that SOT will fall off.
Maybe.
He's
It's definitely possible.
someone. He's got high highs and low lows.
You think I wouldn't have the most trouble thinking about solo laners considering that's my role? But I literally can't think of any of the other solo laners in the league. Baskin is 100% above him. Baskin is 100% above him. Baskin might be the number 1 after the tournament.
Baskin is really good.
You know what? I think you're right. I think there's a chance for top 4. I'm looking at it.
There's a chance, it's a hot take for a reason.
I'd probably put him above Nika. I'd probably put him above Variety. I'd probably put him above Ducky. So then you're talking about like him being above one of SOT or Fine. Okay, that's definitely possible.
Yeah. I hope so. You know, I hope the Glads turn around and turn out to be like the Hounds of this.
Dude, it could so happen.
It could.
I
It
think
really, really
Snoopy
is.
is remembering that enemies can hurt him away from being like pretty much an SPL level player again.
Yeah.
If he can do that, then like this team's got a chance.
I shouldn't eat every ability.
Yeah.
That would help.
All right. My last hot take. Are you ready for this?
Yep, let's hear it.
All right. By the end of season 12, I've switched back and forth between the end of season 11 and season 12. I think I'll switch to season 12 to give it a little bit more time to happen.
At the end of season 12,
yes,
bro?
yes.
That Smite Pro cannot. There's a possibility that's not even a thing at that point.
Damn, you figured it out. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, okay. Hey, let's hear it. Sorry.
Okay. The conversation for top carry in the league, I bet you can already see where this is going. There's going to be between Stewart and Coast. Those are going to be the top 2 carries by the end of season 12.
In 2 years?
Yes, in 2.5 years.
Yeah, I agree. I can see it.
All right, wasn't as hot of a take as I was hoping. I guess.
I mean, I guess it depends on the longevity of the other players here.
Right.
Cyclones already took a break last year, and so I'm sure he doesn't have much left in the tank. Yarkor will probably be on his 4th roll by then, if I had to guess. But then, you know what? Looking at some of these players, you know, this isn't a league like where, I guess, you know, the NFL, you're familiar with football.
Right.
The running backs, all running backs are known for having like shorter careers because they're out there, they're getting hit more.
Except for notably Frank Gore, who played until he was 110.
Frank Gore was like just lived longer than any human, anyways. That guy's half.
Dude, I haven't checked in a while. He might still be in the league, and like he was drafted like in the 90s.
Isn't he on the Cardinals right now?
Is he actually still in the league?
I think so. I think he's like actually 50. He's 40. He's 40. No, he's not. He's not in the league anymore. But yeah, no. I mean, there's nothing like that. You know, it's not like supports are in the league less because they take more damage. You know, it's everyone's playing a video game.
Right.
And so.
I mean, there is like definitely a certain aspect though of.
Yeah. I mean, you get your reflexes slow down, your reaction time slows down, and so stuff like that. But it's a lot longer of a time. I mean, Barracuda's been here for the entire. Barracuda and Zapman have been in the league the whole time.
Right.
PVM's almost been here the whole time.
It's also not as big of a deal in Smite as it is in like other esports. Like I know in Rocket League, like by the time you're 19, you're washed.
Right, which is
fucking crazy.
That's actually crazy.
I know. You have like 3 years, and then if you're like one of the GOATs of all time, you got 5.
I have never been able to wrap my head around Rocket League, and I never hope to either.
Yeah, we should play it sometime.
No.
We should grind ranked in Rocket League together.
It literally makes me sick.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
Actually, wait, let's do it. Let's grind ranked in Rocket League.
No, I will do it with you. I'm not even kidding. I'm so fucking dog shit at it, but I'll do it with you.
I'll re-download it right now.
Are we committing to this right now?
I'm committing to it. I mean,
fuck. I regret saying it.
What's the worst that's going to happen, dude? We get in here and we play a couple of ranked games and we realize we're bronze 7s. and then we get out. You know?
Dude, bronze 7 is higher than I am. At best, I'm like a wood 3.
Yeah.
I'm so bad at
bags 17.
Plastic bag 17.
Holy.
Why, when you said that, did I think it should be a rapper name?
Plastic bag 17.
Yeah.
That's my rapper name. Oh no. Don't have enough free space on my on my PlayStation
Oh,
for
never mind. I
anything.
guess we're not doing it.
Too late, brother. Too late.
I've literally
Yeah.
not played Rocket League in years.
That's the best part.
That's Rocket
Wait,
Arena.
I don't
Literally
even
not
have it.
Rocket League. Oh, do you not?
Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah, I
Okay.
do. I downloaded it when it was free on.
Yeah, I thought I did that as well, but I don't see
Did
it.
you just sign on to your PlayStation?
Yeah, I'm gonna download it right now
I
with
just
you.
got the notification. Okay, I'm downloading it as we speak.
Alright.
That can't end well. What is this?
Why can't I find it?
And we need a. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting off topic here.
We are.
What was the topic?
We're on a
Hot
Smite
takes?
podcast and we're talking about Rocket League.
Well, we've hit NBA, NFL, Rocket League.
Dude, where the fuck is my? I'll
trifecta
figure it
of
out later.
professional sports.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's gonna be Stewart and Coast. It's the top two carries. Maybe even the top two players. They're gonna have like a 5-year rivalry, and it's gonna be goated. Coast is gonna play with Paul at some point. And it's gonna be both of our favorite teams. Are you there? He's not there. What happened? That's not good. Well. Oh, hey, there he is. Hello?
My Wi-Fi just cut out.
That's not good. Back now, though.
No, I'm on my phone.
Oh.
I'm on data.
Never mind, then.
So, I apologize if this sounds really weird.
It doesn't sound too terrible, I don't think.
No, not awful. That's good.
Yeah.
You know, what? I guess, did you get your Rocket League downloading?
I can't find it. I'm gonna look for it after. I had it as a disc originally, and I thought I had it the free version, but I can't find it, so I'll have to find the disc, I think.
The one bad thing about playing Rocket League
is playing Rocket League
is that we can't gank right lane.